What's up? Hope y'all hear me. Why you want to turn the TV down? Huh? All right, y'all. What up? So, election season is here. The alderman election and the mayor election, and then in November you're voting for the governor, the U.S. senator, state reps, state senate, and congressional seats, secretary of state, um, treasurer, and comptroller. So yeah. Now, my name is Zoe Marsh Lee. I was born and raised in Albany, New York. My father is named Charles Lee Sr. Irvin. He's played for the Miami Dolphins 1972, 17-0. To this day, this team has not been defeated. That their legacy has not been defeated. They're still undefeated. No one has beat that record, and I'm proud of that. My father was on that team, and I carry that legacy. My mother is Charlene Marsh. She's born and raised in Chicago, Illinois. She graduated from St. Elizabeth Grammar School, high school, went on to St. Joseph's in Rensselaer, Indiana. I have one biological aunt on my mother's side by the name of Rosie. And I have a host of cousins here, nephews, nieces, uh, and I never, ever, ever anticipated in being in politics at all in my life. Everybody knows me as being funny. Some people know me as being a savage. Um, and always being true to who I am. I never ever joined to get along with anybody. I always spoke up when it didn't make any sense. I was never afraid to cut off anybody or anything if it wasn't conducive to what I feel like should be added on to my life. Um, I have had my days where I've been out of control, especially me in my younger days. Now that I'm 40, and the last few years of just maturing and realizing that we have to set an example for the generation coming up. Um, I thought that I would be doing comedy, producing, directing, managing, but God found uh, something else, another calling. I guess my calling was to call out and expose things that are flaws in the community and politics and entertainment. But just a big advocate of mind your own business. However, if you want to get in my lane, then let's go. Right? Cool. Um, the city of Chicago, and I investigated this myself, and I'm going to put it out there because there's a lot of rumors and things that are not true at all. But because I found the loophole and I ran to the Breakfast Club and I exposed the scam, the TIF scam, and actually basically shut down the Democratic Party. Uh, I've been getting a lot of slack. I mean, heat. Big heat. Mad at me. Uh, One didn't want to talk to me. Called me all types of stuff. Pissed off because I basically pulled the band-aid off of a scab that was never going to heal because y'all weren't putting alcohol or peroxide or neosporin on it. Cool. But also, you get one mom. My mother is not perfect, just like I am not perfect. But she's the perfect mother for me, and I'm the perfect daughter for her. And my mother has taught me what's right is right, what's wrong is wrong. My mother has also been with, have supported me in my dreams, anything, but she's also, you know, did not support if it was something that it wasn't good, like me stealing. My mother told me if I ever got in trouble and got caught for stealing, she would never come and see me. She left me in Albany County Jail, musty as I don't know what, for 7 months. But she told me because my mother tried everything to avoid me from going to jail, and from jail it went to prison. Even though I shouldn't have went to prison for what it was, but at the end of the day, this was my life story, and this is something that I had to go through. Luckily, the state of New York, if you're under 21, your record is sealed. So my record is sealed. So people can, even though I went to Bedford, even though I've been to, um, can't think of the other prison that I went to. But Bedford was the maximum. Everybody goes into that reception, and then you go to either Albion, Beacon. That's where I was at, Beacon. From there, I went to New York City or whatever, finished my parole out. Tried Texas for a minute with my mother, could not do Texas or whatever. But I've been around the places. I've seen how everything happened. Now, moving to Atlanta, I moved to Atlanta in 2019. 2019 is the year that I believe the Democratic Party changed. And I will dig deep into that later on when I finish doing my homework and just my analysis on things. But again, these are my feelings, these are my thoughts, these are my opinions. I'm not trying to influence anybody to, you know, to go red or do any of those things. I built Chicago Fizz Red because I saw the need that we have nobody to advocate on our behalf when it comes to entrepreneurship, when it comes to our children not getting the proper things that they need, business owners not receiving the proper things that they need, mental health people, the mental health that's going on is crazy. No one isn't even talking about it. LGBTQ is out of control. And when you look around and stuff, you see a lot of narcissism and psychological mean girl, just some crazy things, being on both sides, being on the entertainment side, and then from the entertainment side, you go to seeing the political side, and they all intertwine together, right? So I know a lot of people, and a lot of people that was able to help the situation with the city knocking down my family's building and not compensating them. It's against the law. I don't care who's in office. Okay? I don't care who's in office. I know that if I was the mayor of any city, I know that if I was the alderman of any city, if I was the governor of any city, if I was a state rep of any city, if I was the U.S. congressional of any city, senator, whatever, president of the United States, if someone comes to me and says the city of Chicago knocked down a building, and you show all the paperwork, including a voicemail from their own law department that gives them the three options to how you can settle this, because they do this a lot, it would have got settled. But it didn't get settled. When my mother went into the hospital in January 2023, I came here. I was in Atlanta. I came here to see my mother while she was at Rush. And then I went down to City Hall. I tried to see if I could talk to somebody down there, because this has been on my mother's mind since 2017. And at that time, I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't listening. This was in the height when Dick Gregory was, we were there. You understand? We were traveling. We were doing 5 shows a week. It was just getting them out here, all those type of things. So that was, my mother explaining, Zoe, they can't do this, but I wasn't paying attention. Fast forward 2019, Lori Lightfoot gets in. Lori Lightfoot campaign that anybody that had a lawsuit against the city, that she would settle that. My mother volunteered for Lori Lightfoot. She campaigned for Lori Lightfoot. And I also bought 2 to 3 tickets to her fundraisers for my mom, so my mom could talk to her about what she initially promised when she got in office. She would always give my mother her assistance information, and nothing would come about. To the point that even there was a girl, the lady that came from Atlanta and that was working with that started working with Lori Lightfoot. We reached out to her. Um, Mike, Killer Mike, he made a phone call to her to see if she can look into why they knocked down the building and all those things. And honestly, she gave us some paperwork, and she's like, "This is all they have. I don't really know any much else." And maybe about I don't know, a month later, she left. So she probably saw some stuff like, "Oh hell, no, I can't get involved in that or any of those things." But she ended up resigning. Like, she wasn't even there 6 months. COVID hit. Y'all was all shut down in Illinois and Chicago. Meanwhile, in Atlanta, we turned up. Okay, so my COVID living and y'all COVID living was 2 different types of COVID living. But I do know a lot of people from Chicago would hit me up because they be looking at my stories on Instagram. They're looking at my X page. They're looking at like, man, they outside. So people will come. A lot of people came from Chicago to come see us, because the influence that I've always had. I've always pushed to keep people's businesses open. Especially if I like the place, a vibe and stuff like that. And I helped keep a lot of businesses in Atlanta open. And I brought Mike and Shay there and all those things, great things. Then I started my brand, Uncomfortable Truth Lifestyle, because I was tired of seeing men getting canceled for speaking out in comedy or in rap and stuff like that. And I'm like, that's art. Can't really cancel nobody because you don't like their opinions or how they run things or how they see things in their lens. This is comedy. Like, if they try to do it with Dave Chappelle, because Dave Chappelle brought up the trans situation and the T's and talked about how they are basically taking over and doing a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like, he broke it down, and he had one of the best analogies. They were trying to boycott him from Netflix and cancel him, but they couldn't cancel him. So, I built Uncomfortable Truth Lifestyle. And I was like, because this is what you're not going to do. You're not going to silence people. Like, this is the whole reason why we have the First Amendment in the U.S. Constitution. But I didn't realize how so far removed we are from the U.S. Constitution, from the Declaration of Independence, from the Bill of Rights, to just taking the oath when you put your hand on that Bible to take office, and you go in there and you sell out your whole community. Like, you don't care. You selling it to the highest bidder. You selling it, and the highest bidder don't even gotta be a lot of money. Like, yeah, I didn't know that it was this bad, but I should have known it was this bad because y'all let y'all let China and Dr. Fauci and a bunch of weird liberals and socialists tell you about a pandemic, and you believe this and only the blue states were pushing this pandemic to the point that they shut everybody down and messed up the remaining of the kids who educate who you know that they need their education. Like, it was terrible. But you're not really paying attention because you're living life. Life is life, doing all these things, right? That, well, in my case, what had me start paying attention was that I know too many people. Too many people. And I reached out to everybody that I could reach out to about seeing if they can reach out. I mean, I reached out to Rock Nation. I reached out to Jay-Z and them to see about getting some of them attorneys that they were talking about that was helping a lot of wrongfully convicted people. I'm like, look, man, they're taking black people's property. They're taking black seniors' property. The reason why we're not seeing our generational wealth is because they're taking our property. But and no one was trying to pay attention to nothing I was saying. Cool, bet. I'm not waiting on nobody. Y'all can ignore me. That's cool. So I took it upon myself to protest outside City Hall. And I did for 17 weeks because I'm like, somebody gotta see this. You understand? We got a new mayor. You know, he got a black wife, black kids. You understand? He a black man from the west side of Chicago. Oh, well, he definitely will understand this story. And I can give him all the evidence to show that the city was in the wrong. Now, it didn't fall on you because you weren't in office. But since you are in office right now, why don't you be a hero like you were to the illegals? You know what I'm saying? You would think that him or the 50 disgraced aldermen that will walk past me every day would not say anything to me. Wouldn't say anything. The only people that ever stopped and said something to me was Michelle Harris. And she says, yeah, you're probably going to need to get an attorney. And I'm like, y'all are the legislative body. Y'all are the city council. Y'all are the many presidents of y'all wards. None of y'all can't talk to David Moore. None of y'all can't. Y'all out here on this high tide about black this, black that, black excellence. Y'all on the black the do nothing black caucus. Y'all are all in these sororities and fraternities. Y'all got all this HBCU education. And ain't nobody. You a AKA. You a whole AKA, Michelle Harris. You can't find me no real estate attorney. But I should have known it was something wrong because I remember when they gave the AKAs a resolution or something when they opened up their credit union. Now the credit union is only for the AKAs, but they're proud to open up this credit union. And I remember this one AKA older lady. She had to be in her 60s. She reads my poster board, and she goes, "Yeah, they did that to me too." And so I'm like, "So what did you do? So what did you do? You know, girl, we just lost it. Okay, ski wee." You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, what? Like, come, like, this is just what I'm hearing. Then I'm hearing every other nationalities walking past me. Oh yeah, they did that to me. Got to get a lawyer. Oh yeah, they did that to me. Took care of it. But every black person that would walk past me and see that, they would basically be like, yeah, I mean, that's just what Chicago do. So we're gonna keep allowing Chicago to do this. We're gonna keep allowing Chicago to do this. Like, that's, y'all have normalized. Black Chicago has normalized that you can't get no help because the way the machine works here, the machine puts these black people in front, right? Like the Michelle Harrises, the Stephanie Colemans, the Ronnie Mosleys, the Walter Burnett's, the Jesse Whites, the Jason Irvins, the Haitian mayor, Brandon Johnson. That's from the West Side. That's a convict. That's a conservative vice lord. That daddy's supposed to be a pastor. A whole, but whatever, the whole story. It's sad that I even know all that. That's the crazy part of the whole situation. That I know all of that. I didn't even care to know any of that. They put them in the front. So then, when a person like me, who's also black, go against them or break down how raggedy they are, they make it like, why you hating, or why you doing this to them, or da da da. Why you want to take a black person down? What are you talking about? The whole city of Chicago has all this black leadership, from the pastors to the politicians to the developers to the educators to the union to the heads of the union, but nobody can't seem to make this right with Leroy Singleton, who's had the Sandpiper Lounge since 1965 in the city of Chicago, and majority of these no good politicians, including Barack Obama, has been in the Sandpiper Lounge. Jesse Jackson Jr. been in the Sandpiper Lounge. Al Sharpton been in the Sandpiper Lounge. Quinn been in the Sandpiper Lounge. David Moore been in the Sandpiper Lounge. Latasha Thomas been in the Sandpiper Lounge. Terry Peterson been in the Sandpiper Lounge. Daily been in there. Y'all all been in there to solicit votes, but nobody can't help Leroy or reimburse my mother for helping Leroy get his money back for knocking down his paid off building with his equity, which is against the law. And the main reason why they did it was because it was on TIF. It was in a TIF district. So that was TIF land. That's still TIF land. And the TIF land comes from the property tax money. So you're meaning to tell me that they've been paying property taxes for decades, and y'all don't even have the decency to give him his money back for what y'all did, or what y'all thought that y'all were going to get away with? Because that's what it was, because you've been doing this for a very long time in our communities. Sandpiper Lounge is not the only building that you have done this to. So that's number one. Then I met Miss Jessica. I talked to Miss Jessica the first time on the phone. I swear to God, probably like 6 hours. The first time me and Miss Jessica ever talked to the phone, it was about 6 hours. And one thing that Miss Jessica taught me in them 6 hours of talking to her on the phone was that everybody gotta get to four. She said Malcolm found his way to get to four. Martin chose his way to get to four. You got Dick Gregory who chose his way to get to four. Everybody had their way of getting to four. And what that means to me is that everybody's plans are going to be different. Everybody's going to feel a different way how they feel like they can take on the system. They can feel liberated. They feel if you know that's how that works, right? Bet. Cool. Me and Miss Jessica issue was property. And hers was in probate court. Any other normal place would have let her and her family deal with the probate court, the house situation, because the will that everybody screams that you gotta have, that her mother had set in stone, gave the directions. This is her mama's directions on how she wants her children to split up the building that she got for them, and has been paid off since Miss Jackson was 16 years old. Miss Jackson is in her 60s. She look good for us, but she in her 60s. So the fact that you got these, because usually it's the pattern, the corrupt pattern in probate court is after they milk all of the money from your family member, or if they know that your mom or your family member has all their estate, their affairs in order, their affairs in order, they go after you immediately. They go after it immediately. Like it's just that's the game. That's the game. And people take it. Sometimes it takes years for people to get their stuff out. They end up either losing it or just giving up. And very rare do you see somebody come out with a W. And Miss Jackson, just like myself, was not going at all. And like Miss Jessica says, Chicago Fifth Red is here, and we are grateful for Chicago Fifth Red. We are. But if Chicago Fifth Red wasn't here or not, we still got cases that Cook County and the city will not settle, because they know that if they settle these cases, that do you know how many other people will come out the woodwork because they've done the exact same thing to them, and they have worked it in that when you go to Daily Plaza, when you go to the federal building, when you got Kwame Raoul, who's your attorney general, who does not care about them taking your properties or anything like that, the cycle remains, and then they start talking about guardian ad litems and stuff. They start saying, well, you might need a guardian. No, I don't need no guardian. I'm learning that they're starting to do that too. They want control. These people have took an oath to the corrupt system in this city that they think that they can control people, which is a real dictatorship. Y'all talk about Trump. I didn't know who was running for office, nor did I really care who was running for office. What I had an issue was with that they kept violating my First Amendment down at City Hall. Every time I would speak out about the injustices in my mother's case, in my godfather's case, and then once I had to basically start letting them know, look, I have went to Merrick Garland. That's the attorney general at that time that was under Biden administration. I done went to Christian, I think her name is Christian Clark. That was the she was the civil rights attorney general for the civil rights division. Went to her, no answer. Then you got Susan Halen. That is the attorney general for the state. I don't even know if she is a real person. Then you go to Kwame Raoul. No, Susan Haley is the inspector general for the state of Illinois. Then you go to Kwame Raoul, who is the attorney general. He don't respond. Then you go to Pritzker. Pritzker don't respond. Then you go to his chief of staff, Anna. She don't respond. Then you go to your state rep, Cam Buckner. He don't respond. Then you go to David Moore. He definitely not going to respond because he's autistic and a crackhead. So then you're dealing with, who else we got? Then you got Deborah Witzberg, who's the attorney general. She don't respond. So then you go to your mayor, who goes in every other door when I was protesting outside because he didn't want to run into me. What? Bet, cool, no problem. So what do you do? What do you do? You do what, I mean, this is what I did. I don't know what you guys did, but this is what I told Brandon Johnson. When I told Mayor Brandon Johnson, I said, look, man, I was in Georgia when they flipped it blue. They cheated, but I was there when they flipped it blue. I will flip this state red. This is the worst customer service I've ever had in my life. No one don't respond. Nobody responds. I got all of the evidence to show that the city is in violation of knocking down this building and not paying nobody. Ignore. Bet. Y'all don't bet. Then the arrest comes. They didn't think I was going to come back. What? I've been arrested for worse things. This time, I'm getting arrested for asking the questions of why y'all not going to settle my family's case when y'all were in the wrong. Y'all can't knock down nobody's building and don't pay them. I don't know what y'all could never do that on the north side. Y'all would never do that in Pilsen. Y'all would never do that downtown. Y'all would never do that in Lincoln Park. Y'all would never do that up in Norwich Park. Y'all would never do that in Jefferson Park. Y'all would never do that. But y'all do it on 79th and Halsted. Y'all do it on 75th. Y'all go do it over in South Shore. And I'm supposed to eat that because the rest of y'all have allowed it to happen. No, not me. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna eat. I'm not gonna eat the loss. No. So once they arrested me and I came back and start asking more questions, then from there, when I realized, I think one time Miss Jessica said she thanked the media for being there. After Miss Jackson thanked that media for being there, media never came back into those chambers. And I remember telling Miss Jessica, I said, Miss Jessica, I'm going to just have to cut these 3 minutes up that we're doing. Now, mind you, I'm not even knowing that we're going viral down there already. I'm not knowing, but we're going viral. I would take them 3 minutes and I would just put them on my Instagram page. Because, again, I never wanted All I wanted this city to do was settle this case, get my money, and let me go continue and push an uncomfortable truth lifestyle. That was my brand. It's still my brand, but that is the brand. I was working. I wanted my own festival. I was working on that. I'm big in music. I love music. So that's just what my goal was. I never wanted to be out here in the front. I never wanted to. I don't. I'm. It's crazy that I'm doing doing this. You understand? But clearly this is just my calling. So anyway, once I started, putting it out there and stuff like that, I reached out to Charlemagne because Charlemagne was paying attention to what I was doing. But he was paying attention to the migrant crisis here. That everybody knows that the migrant crisis was a scam. Now, they're not telling them to probably talk about it because they didn't think people were going to really talk about it and push it the way that I'm gonna push it. This was I watched them steal all that money down there and ignore everybody else. I watched them use people's statistics, use our statistics for everything while the Brown was getting it. I watched how the Brown is racist down there. Rosanna Rodriguez Sanchez, a racist. Jessica Fuentes, a racist. Michael Rodriguez, a racist. Andre Vasquez, a racist. Carlos Romero Rosa, a racist. Sabana Tabrez, she's a racist. I mean, I can go on and on and on and on and on. They'll find one black person to latch on to help with their agenda, but at the end of the day, they don't care about us. And I see it. But you've got these stupid, liberal, dumb black students who are indoctrinated in thinking that they're going to save the world with people who actually work for the cartel. And then you got these dumb pastors who have hooked up with these dumb black drug dealers who done went and got these nonprofits for CVI. And basically it's just the gangs still killing each other. And Pritzker is funding it. And y'all allowing it to happen. It's just out of control. It's lawless out here. No law and order at all. Y'all don't care about nobody. Y'all don't care about nobody. But this lying agenda, this oppression agenda, this narrative. So when I went to Charlemagne and I said, look, they are stealing black people's property in the city of Chicago, in the state of Illinois. I don't know if they're doing it anywhere else, but I can tell you that I have two people that have similar stories, just two different type of stories. But the bottom line is they are stealing black seniors' property, and they are getting away with it because they put this black person up here in front, and they make it seem like it's some type of animosity. The animosity is this gatekeeper who done took an oath to their white man, which happens to be Pritzker because he's the trick of Illinois and the trick of the coons of the Democratic Party because he's a billionaire, that he has gotten away with it for so long because he pays off the board of elections. He pays off everybody. He runs everything. That's why his name is on in everything, on every foundation and stuff. Anybody that got Pritzker on a foundation, they are getting paid. There's not nothing in his body because he's doing it out the kindness of his heart. He is the true dictator. He's a loser, and the family is all weird. The whole Pritzker family weird as hell. And the fact that y'all don't let them experiment with your kids and stuff like that makes you weird too. Now, they also go and get these fiends and pay them $2 and $3 a signature and get them $1,000 and stuff like that, so they can go get high over there on Madison, Pulaski, or wherever they go on the south side to get their drugs. And then you put this bastard back in to onto this governor's seat, and y'all gonna do the same thing again. So I saw the play, and I went to the Breakfast Club, and I was able to go in that Breakfast Club and go in on a Democratic Party, and then go in on the city of Chicago when it came to this TIF scam, this tax increment financing money. So when I was able to get on there and I was able to tell my story, people try to poke holes in my story because I exposed the TIF scam. And I exposed the TIF scam because that is why y'all are stealing property. Daily put this TIF tax increment financing money idea together, and it's no oversight. And they've been stealing our property tax money for the longest, and by lying and saying they're revitalizing stuff, they're working with the housing authority, they're working with this, they're working with that. They're not working with nobody. This is one big RICO. It's racketeering. It's organized crime. After that, that's when people, of course, they chase clout. So everybody wanted to come to me and, act like they were going to help and all this stuff. And then basically would say little things like, he going to settle your case. He going to settle your case. Just wait it out, wait it out. I'm like, what I got to wait out? And the reason why is what I got to wait out, because your way of settling my case was you were going to offer me a contract like you've offered the rest of these people out here who's advocating on your behalf to putting your sorry ass back in that seat. The city of Chicago watched this man steal. Okay, we won't say steal. Prioritize illegal aliens. He ran on this city being a welcoming city. He said to the news that he did not flinch. He ignored people who came down there with issues, from housing issues to property issues to them not being able to see their children, even though he's such an advocate about this, this. I'm a black man with black kids, have a black wife, Nigga, you are a black fraud. A black FRAUD. Anybody riding with you is a black fraud as well. We watched him for 3 years, but 2.5 years ignore us. The only reason why he's circling around the block is because, what's her name? The Indian, Kamala Harris, that y'all keep trying to push as a black woman because it's something seriously wrong with y'all. She didn't get in. So the fact that she didn't get in, then y'all start doubling down on Trump can't come here. Trump is not allowed here. How you going to tell the president of the United States where they're allowed? When you done let all these illegals over here and you letting this cartel run this. The fentanyl has been out of control since the COVID era, because everybody relapsed in these blue states and cities because y'all shut them down. Why? Regardless of how y'all say how racist all these red governors were, these red governors did not close their city. Especially Kemp DeSantis, Abbott knew they couldn't close Atlanta, Miami, Orlando, Dallas, Houston. Black people, we save up 3, 4 checks to go spend dumb money to get tables at these restaurants and stuff like that. These people got to pay their taxes to keep the city running. Mexico didn't shut down, but New York City, Los Angeles, and Chicago, Illinois. And you get to see people going back and forth, arguing, all that stuff. It was just crazy. The craziest thing, but y'all allows it to happen. Cool, right? Bet. So now a person like me who did not take the vaccine, it is not, and I wasn't taking the vaccine because y'all just made that vaccine up yesterday. I don't even know who Dr. Fauci is. I don't trust anything when it comes to China. Have you seen it? Man, I don't even buy clothes that come from China because they're extra larges and they extra large. They're largest and extra larges is not, man. They smalls and mediums. They don't care, but it's so cheap that you don't even ask for your money back. No, I just spent $5. They don't care. But imagine how many $5 they keep racking up. China don't care about us. They all against America. All these people are against America, and they're teaching our children to be against America. These dumbass politicians and these dumb pastors are telling them to be against America. Why do I want to align myself with a political party who praises a senile socialist by the name of Bernie Sanders? Bernie Sanders and Bernie Sanders needs a handler. He needs a handler just like Joe Biden needs a handler. Two senile people. Two senile people, and then Elizabeth Warren with her lying self saying that she was Indian. Y'all just let these people play in your face all day, and then you think that I'm supposed to play these games with y'all because there's something wrong with y'all. Now election season is coming up. Miss Jessica told y'all that we was coming for your seats. Y'all thought Trump was going to lose. He won by a landslide. Danielle went. He sent for Danielle to go and testify before Congress and before Senate about what we were dealing with in the city of Chicago. When he threatened to when he said he was going to bring the National Guard here, and people thought the National Guard was here and they were going to come here, even when they went and put that lawsuit, so they had to be in Great Lakes for a minute until they figured that out or whatever. Cool, right? It was quiet. It wasn't nobody outside. It wasn't nobody outside when they thought that that the National Guard was here. So they knew what time it was. We have been calling for National Guard here. I really believe that that this place needs to be shut down until the feds come in here, because we are dealing with dangerous people that are in these political seats. They are killing people every day. Someone sent me a message yesterday and says that their mother got shot. Their mother got shot, and she's in the hospital. This is what we're dealing with. This is what we're dealing with in a city, and you've got the fake news who y'all really need to boycott because they're all liars. They won't even not only Fox 32, but the rest of them won't even acknowledge Danielle running for mayor because they make their money off of what? Destruction, black trauma, black oppression. Now turning our kids into to little LGBTQ dolls. And you got people out here advocating for Brandon Johnson to get back in when he with all the shit that is harming our children because he promised y'all some contracts. Anybody that's riding with Brandon Johnson is a terrible father, is a terrible human being. If you know what he's about. Now, if you don't know what he's about, then nah. I'm just asking you to do your homework and do your research. But if you're going to stand by him and try to shit on Danielle's name or Chicago Fist Red name because we're coming with the facts that anybody can go look up. NBC just brought it back up about the migrant crisis again because they already know. They already know that they could not FOIA them 18 leases. It was 27 shelters that was being run in the city of Chicago, and we were paying $700,000 a day for it. $700,000 a day. It's one shelter still being ran right now in Bronzeville, in the that women's youth leadership school. That's not too far from Dunbar. But we were paying $700,000 a day on shelters. The NBC5 tried to FOIA 27 shelter leases. They only could get 9. Where the rest of the 18? Then you fast forward to we got a new inspector general that clearly is just as corrupt as the last one that just left, because he says by looking at all the information that they have, it looked like they spent the money properly. You couldn't. What's that? Couldn't even NBC5 couldn't even FOIA the 18 shelters. How do you know? Did you? How did you know? How do you know? Because I know you don't got the leases. If they was to FOIA the 18 leases now, you're not gonna get them because they don't got the leases. So how did the new inspector general just know that they spent it properly? How much did they pay you, or did they threaten you? Because I know you didn't come. You came in here. I'm going to continue to lie. But that's because that's what they got out here. They got these people scared. When we be out here getting these signatures, well, I'll just be there for the filming. But I watch how these city workers, they support us, but they can't take no pictures with us. They can't. They're told that if they take any pictures with us, they'll get fired. Now, what type of dictatorship is that? You can't take a picture with Danielle or myself or anybody else, Chicago Fitz Red or Danielle Carter Walters, because they'll fire you. Just like when Lori Lightfoot was in there, she demoted police officers who allowed because Trump landed his plane. So yeah, Chicago Fit Red is here to change the operations of government. Y'all been in there for too long, not doing nothing for the community. Y'all been in there too long to the point our kids cannot read, cannot write, cannot do math, don't understand what uh, cursive writing is, don't know what a signature is, don't know what a checkbook is, don't know anything. Anything. The first thing, the first lesson in school is comprehension. If you're passing our kids and they can't comprehend what they're reading, what they're looking at, you failed as a teacher. And as a parent, if you are at home and you're seeing that your kids aren't comprehending things that you think that they should be able to comprehend at that age, and they're not, you got to go up to the school. And if the school it wants to play them games, then y'all need to sue the school and sue Brandon Johnson, sue the state of Illinois, sue the federal government for No Child Left Behind. But y'all gonna have to do something. Or you're gonna take your kid out and pay one of these teachers on do not hire lists some money and help them teach your kids how to comprehend. Because if your kids don't know how to comprehend, then there's really no purpose of them being in school. Comprehension is the first thing, and I still deal with struggle sometimes with comprehension. Sometimes I gotta look at certain things and then I gotta read it over and over again. I gotta make sure I got it, stuff like that, because that was one of my struggles growing up in school. When I was in second grade, I will never forget Miss Gorwitz. If Miss Gorwitz did not stay with me after school and help me with my comprehension and make me sit there and read the chapter books, and and write back what I learned, tell her what I just read, and then write a little book report on it, I'd been gone. So you just got to get somebody in here that cares. So it's not nothing personal against Willie Wilson running. It's all personal when it comes to Alexa Janulius, Susanna Mendoza, when it comes to Brandon Johnson. It's no when it comes to Matt Brewer, because Matt Brewer, you were 13 years over at the Chicago Housing Authority as a commissioner. You knew all the corruption that was going on, and you didn't care. And now you're ready to run for office. I know you don't care. I know you do not care. So you definitely don't need to see. You definitely don't need to see that seat. John Kelly, you can't be a MAGA Democrat. You can't be a MAGA Democrat. You can't. So I don't, that's just, no. Everybody thought that Chicago Flips Red was not going to be nothing. Everybody underestimated Chicago Flips Red but myself and Danielle. People thought it was going to be go there and it's going to be, it's hot right now, but it's going to eventually die down. A lot of people underestimated my branding and how I can brand things. People underestimated who I was, and they continue to underestimate who I am. And I hate that for you, because the more you underestimate me, the more powerful Chicago Flips Red is going to be, because it is fueled by the people. It's fueled by the real true conservatives, the adults who understand that Chicago Fizz Red is survival at this time. Survival, so Chicago Fizz Red is letting the voice, letting the voice of the male, man. You know, I never really grew up around. I have brothers on my father's side. I never grew up around my brothers, and you know, sometimes I wish they would have came to get me when I was younger. You know, because I played ball. You know, I was an athlete. I was a tomboy my whole entire life. All those things, you know. So I wish they would have taken me under their wing. But regardless, it is what it is. But I do this. I push Chicago Fizz Red because I want men, I want the alpha male to know that I got y'all back. You understand? Like, I want to see you succeed. I want to see you lead. I want you to be able to take care of your kids. Because see, if you're not gonna be able to take care of your kids or be there for your children or understand the importance of co-parenting, then we're gonna be lost. So men have to lead. It's just it has to happen, and I want y'all to be able to lead, but I want y'all to be able to have a voice. And if somebody comes and tries to shut that down, I want you to have a place to come to, so we'll be able to advocate for you. Because at the end of the day, you're not the feminist agenda, the LGBTQ agenda is not going to make this country a better country. Okay, you're not going to continue to emasculate the black male because that this is a new version of slavery, some weird type of fetish thing that y'all got going on. You understand? And it starts from these secret societies when it comes to these statuses and these symbols and these um these fraternities and sororities and stuff. And I'm not saying all of them. I'm not saying all, but it's a lot of weirdos that y'all have let into y'all spaces, and y'all are and because everybody got something on somebody, the Democratic Party is weird. It's weird. Everybody got some type of rape case, or and there's so many people, there's so many women who are willing to pull that rape card out in a minute because it's part of this victim agenda that the Democratic Party has created. So in order to shut that down, you got to shut down the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party weird, and people are mad at me because I saw it. Because I spoke up about it and stuff. Were the Republican Party trash too? Okay, well maybe the Republican Party is trash, but nobody wasn't spending 40. They weren't voting red no matter who. Y'all voting blue no matter who. It don't matter. Y'all just voting blue no matter who. Y'all, nobody was voting red. The bulk of black people were not voting red no matter who. So when y'all come to me and say stupid stuff like, what the Republican Party do for us? Well, Republican Party tried to give us our 40 acres and a mule. When Democratic Party said nope. Then the Republican Party voted on the Civil Rights Act, which y'all won't give them, but y'all won't speak on that. Y'all talk about, well, no, the party switched. You know when the party switched? The party switched when Lyndon B. Johnson signed the Civil Rights Act, and never gave the props. Nobody didn't do y'all. No one didn't do their homework back then and say, well, yeah, he signed the executive order, but it was Republicans who voted majority, who voted for that majority. Nobody doesn't talk about that. Then the party switched when as me being here and witnessing in 2019, and I'm going to uh, bring it up why I feel like it is at another time. I'm working on the piece now, but yeah, that's when things got weird on my end. The Democratic Party has not apologized for the 94 crime bill. They have not apologized for the welfare scam. They have not apologized for protecting us like they protected these illegals coming over here and making sure that their families stay fit and see fit. They all stay together. You have to be a complete fool, Chicago, to vote for any of these people running for office besides Danielle Carter Walters. We put in the work. We open them books. I open them books. I found them laundering epidemiology money. I watched them ignore us while they were still passing and pushing TIF money. I watched them not come to work. I watched them go into the community and lie while they down in City Hall voting for all the stuff that's hurting our communities. The taxes, all that. When I say all of them down there, because when they go to moving money from one account to another account, it'll be all green. Nobody don't even ask where that money coming from. Why is this what's this right here that y'all moving that money from here to here? Y'all they don't even ask. They all just say, yep, all of them down there. These people need to be arrested. This is a RICO. People thought, so they never thought this was going to get this far, and it got far. And it got far because you're not going to play with people who don't want to live off the government. I never, ever, 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 ever anticipated in life to live on the government. I don't want nothing from the government. Everything that y'all give me that's free is always trash. Y'all don't know how to run anything. Y'all don't know how to run no grocery stores. Y'all don't know how to run housing. Y'all don't know how to run. Look at the streets. Streets trash. Trash is trash. Trash all over the place. Y'all don't know how to run nothing. Look at the sewers. Look at everything. The government is trash because all they doing is stealing the money and hiring people who are incompetent. We in this crazy hole when it comes to Bally's. Bally's shouldn't even been here. That shouldn't even been a thought to bring a casino to Bally's. And then y'all don't care about no landmarks at all. Then y'all go and destroy the Chicago Tribune old building instead of making that into a museum. That's what I'm saying. Get these people out of office. These people don't respect the culture of the city of Chicago. They do not respect Chicagoans. They don't respect y'all at all. It's a whole bunch of transplants came here from different cities and stuff. They came to the University of Chicago, which a lot of weirdos graduate from there. A lot of liberal weirdos, and then they and just come and mess up the city. because they don't know the city. Yeah, you got to be out. If you care about this city as a true Chicagoan, if you love this city and you care about this city, liberal or not, you're going to have to vote. You're going to have to vote conservative. And conservative is Republican. It ain't no such thing as a Democrat conservative. You can't be a Democrat and conservative. Can't. No. No. Brandon Johnson is not making no millionaire. Nobody no millionaires. These CVI people are not doing their job. I don't even know why y'all entertaining anybody who don't speak on Larry Hoover getting out. Brandon Johnson's so black. Does he speak about Larry Hoover? Oh, he can't, right? Because he's a conservative vice lord. He ain't gonna speak about him. Y'all got Gator out here embarrassing himself with these T-shirts that he make and put anybody on there. That's another fraud. He see me outside. I got a picture of him. Him next with my mother. I'm gonna put you on the Bradley show. Glory be to God, God be the glory. I'm gonna put you on the Bradley show on the WVOL. And then you go there, you could tell your story. And I heard from Gator since. I seen Gator at Miss Cooper funeral the other day. He looked sick. I bet you did. With your not gonna help Larry Hoover get out. This I'm trying to tell you, man. These people, man, I'm gonna tell you something. I ain't never switch up. People always tell me you need to go independent. I am independent. I independently align myself with the Republican Party. But do you see the Democratic Party? You see it? It's real weird over there. It's real out of control over there. Kids can't comprehend, but you want them to be little fairies. You want you want all our little boys to be fairies and shit. Y'all not teaching them nothing, no type of etiquette. Y'all not teaching them civics. Y'all not teaching them how to hold a fork, hold a knife, hold a spoon. You had two CPS teachers overdose and fit over and they had what cocaine, they had fentanyl in it. I'm talking two CPS teachers. The news is not even talking about this stuff. The news is not even talking about it. But they'll sit and bash Trump all day. The Trump don't got Stony Island looking like that. Trump don't got South Shore looking like that. Trump don't got Auburn Grisham looking like that. Trump don't got downtown looking like that. Trump don't have nothing to do with any of that. Y'all worry about Iran. We in all these wars. We in all these wars. We in all these wars. We in all these. Well, these wars don't got nothing to do with you. You got the oil up. The oil up because y'all continue to let them play with you. Stop. You can get oil from anywhere. Stop. Matter of fact, be like, you know what? We good with the cars. We gonna chill. We gonna chill for a minute. We gonna carpool, but I'm not gonna keep paying this high. Like, we are the ones who are the consumers that continue to pay for these things. They're gonna continue to do monopoly. Monopoly used to be illegal back in the day. I know y'all remember AT&T. AT&T at the time was the only phone company. And the government was like, nah, Y'all can't just be the only one to monopolize off of just being the only phone company. No, you got to make room for others. What happened to that? Oh, they don't teach you this. They don't teach you this stuff though. They don't teach our. They don't teach us this stuff. So you got people just mad at me because I know what's going on, or because my mother taught me this, because my mother, uh, she was in business. That was her thing. She went to school for it. So she teach me, so I know what to look for because I also am an entrepreneur. So these people, these these Republicans that are in the city of Chicago and the state of Illinois, that are in these Republican Party, the GOP, was that with all that stuff, they do not know the first thing on really fighting for the Republic. They don't. They don't care. These were a whole bunch of reject Democrats who was rejected from the Democrats, and they decided to get on over to the Republican Party. So the Republican GOP, stuff like that. So they all Democrats. They all work together. So they try to take us down or find a problem with us or Chicago Fish Red or me or all that stuff because they're mad because they can't move the needle. And they haven't moved the needle because they don't want to move the needle because they're all Democrats. And they will sell out if it's the right type of money. And some are not afraid to say it. They will say it. There are some people that will say that yeah, I don't care. I'm always getting my money. Okay. But just because you sell out doesn't mean that doesn't mean that everybody's going to sell out. No one runs me. I cannot be bought, and I will not ever be bought. The city of Chicago, right now, I got a lawsuit against CTU. I got a lawsuit against the city for violating my First Amendment right. They gonna run me my money. And then I'm refiling this lawsuit again against David Moore for not doing what he was supposed to do as an alderman when it came to them knocking down that sandpiper lounge. And the city of Chicago, because why does the demolition paper say the owner is the city of Chicago? Why didn't you honor my mom's quick deed and my godfather when you honor Stephanie Coleman mama's 14 $10 quick deeds? How does $1 million Tony Preckwinkle able to go to the land bank and get $1 million home when you got 25 South Side and West Side residents, but I think it's South Side residents waiting for their equity from Cook County because the judge ruled that it was unconstitutional to take their property and not their equity. Now you want to put on a referendum for November that if you don't keep up with your lot, that it's going to be serious fines. When is it going to be serious fines when you think you can knock down private property and don't pay them? When is that? When is the city of Chicago going to start fining themselves for that? don't, what's right is right and wrong is wrong. You're not going to continue to take public funding and public funds and do whatever you feel like it needs to do without you consulting with the people who are paying for the public funds, and that's the taxpayers. The aldermen have too much power. Brandon Johnson is an idiot. Kwame Raoul is an idiot. J.B. Pritzker is an idiot and corrupt. Tony Preckwinkle is another senile, corrupt person. And y'all keep holding these people in these positions so y'all can find someone else who is just equally terrible as this person. And y'all think that this generation is going. You think that I'm going. You think that I'm going. You can go. Y'all can do. Y'all can. I'm trying to tell you. Y'all can crash out the way that y'all want to crash out, but y'all not going to tell me how to politic. Okay? Emotions. I don't got no emotions in it no more. I don't. I'm if I go back and listen to some of my stuff when I first started, woo, screaming. I had great points, but I was just so mad and angry, so I can't even really listen to them. But like the last couple of ones that have been down there, just fine. I'm coming with the facts. I'm not mad. I'm not angry. I told you if the city of Chicago didn't settle my family case, I was going to flip it red. And Ms. Jackson said she was coming for them seats. And Danielle said was making you laugh now is going to make you cry later. Honestly, that's basically what everybody said. Ms. Jackson said she was coming for them seats. I said, if y'all didn't settle my family case, I was going to flip this red because this is the worst customer service I've ever had in my life. And if you could do this to my family, imagine who else you're going to do this to. And Danielle told them, what makes you laugh now is going to make you cry later. So, I mean, nobody, like, we were very, very adamant about how we felt. We never shied away from saying that we were going to flip it red. We were coming for them seats. We have all the evidence. Everybody knows that we're telling the truth about our cases and our problems. I don't care what anybody say. And even with Marlene Hopkins, respect to you, Marlene Hopkins. You weren't in there when they first did. I mean, you were there, but it was Judith Freiland. You're absolutely right. But when it comes to the city of Chicago, they cannot knock down anybody's property without a court order. I don't care how you try to play that, spin it around or whatever. There are laws that are from state laws, federal laws that are in place for things like that. So I understand that y'all are attorneys or y'all say y'all attorneys, and I don't know what schools that y'all be going to get these degrees, but y'all are not following the law. Y'all are not following the law, and y'all are not researching the law to the extent to find that you cannot do this. And the fact that y'all think that y'all can do this is crazy because you cannot. I don't care what. I don't care. Like I said, I don't care how you spin it. I don't care. You know how many abandoned buildings are all over the city of Chicago? How many abandoned churches are all over? Y'all don't knock them down. So what's the difference between this? I know y'all wanted it for TIF money because y'all had promised that to T.L. Barrett and T.L. Barrett for development. Then he was going to have you got the Save-A-Lot and all that connected. So they're going to have they're going to have all that. That Save-A-Lot is my godfather's and my mother's. That parking lot is my mother's and my godfather's. That land right there is my mother's and my godfather. And y'all know it. Y'all know it. Y'all just mad because my mother does everything that y'all do. Oh, just put it in nonprofit so they won't take it for taxes because we're not going to keep paying these weird, crazy tax bills because y'all have all these Just take it for this. Take it. Oh, just build him this, build him that. Oh yeah, just go over there and put something on there. Fine them. Oh yeah, go shut them down real quick, and then or just give them a crazy fine. They ain't gonna be able to pay it. Eventually, they're gonna have to sell it. Like y'all do. Oh, y'all make it so hard for owners. For property owners, black owners in our community to make sure that we keep our stuff. But Arabs, Asians, Indians can pull up in our community and get whatever they want from from a dialysis center to a Subway to a wing stop to a Chinese restaurant to a gas station. Treat us like crap. Liquor store. People always been talking about it. But now that like y'all, yeah, and y'all crazy, like y'all crazy if somebody gonna continue to gonna see this. We're the only community that just can't get it right. We're the only community that just can't get it right. Y'all literally are letting these. There's some blocks on the south side and the west side that people recommend you do not go because they're gonna have to shoot. They're gonna have to kill themselves because that's how bad the shooting is over there, because they got beef with each other because it's a gang right here on one block and then there's a gang on the next block. So right next to each other, there's two different gangs and they be shooting at each other. So you can't even go over there and visit nobody because they at war. But the news ain't gonna talk about it. The elected officials are not gonna talk about it. But Chicago flips red is the problem, and we're getting paid and all this stuff. No, I'm not getting paid at all. I don't want nothing from none of y'all unless they're giving it to me because they want to see me uh 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 make Chicago Flips Red one of the best conservative media groups on top of everything else we got going on. Cool. I got a whole. I'm trying to raise $100,000. It's on the website. Y'all can donate $5.99 a month. That's $8,000 a month for me. That will help operation costs. That's the problem. That's why they're mad, because they cannot control me, and they will not control me. I got $1 billion brand. I don't need no public funding. All I need is God and $100,000, and that's to really get it to where it needs to be. Our money is coming, and again, I do things. I do things because I see the vision. I do it because of the vision. The money's gonna be there, but everybody chases money. A lot of people chase money. That's what's going on right now with with the politicians. They so greedy to the point that all this free money. A man today, that's why I can't be out here, because I told you, I'd be pissed off. But because this guy gonna say she a Republican, talk about Danielle, talking to one of the volunteers. She a Republican, this guy. So the guy like, yeah, man, they taking all the social programs. You was a grown ass man. Why did you even worried about the social programs with your drunk ass? He was drunk as hell coming over from the airport. You drunk? You were about to say they taking all the social programs. What social programs are they taking? What social programs are they taking? Welfare is still there. That goes to state regulation. The state decided to give thousands of dollars to illegal aliens for food, for medical, for housing, for cash assistance. And because President Trump decided to cut off the money because it was going to the illegals, while our homeless rate is all and through the roof, it don't have nothing to do. Trump did not. The homeless rate is not like that because of Donald Trump. As a grown man, you shouldn't be upset about the social programs being cut off. Like, y'all kind of slow, and y'all want us to stoop down to that slowness, and I'm just not gonna do it. Danielle got the patience. I'm just not gonna. I don't have the patience. And Miss Jessica ain't got the patience either because you cannot be this much of a moron, and you want me to be a moron with you. You want me to get. You want my mindset to get just as dumb as you. Your friends are getting the perks. I know people that work for Section 8 that's living off Section 8 when y'all are saying it's a 25-year wait list. You got kids graduating from high school and would like to start their life, but they can't start their life because a studio apartment is $2,500. I don't know what else. Another thing is the black Democrat, the people that vote blue no matter who. I'm talking about them. They vote in blue no matter who, but then go in on my sexual orientation. That's how I know that they got a spirit on them and they on a spectrum probably because it's just a lot. It's just a lot. Y'all be going in, y'all be mad at me for for calling out the BS, but then you'll talk about my sexual orientation at the same time. That's how I know there's something wrong with y'all. Also, it is 2026. Very rare, once in a while, God and ancestors is going to push for a leader, and the leader happens to be a woman. Now, there's a lot of people I read stuff that say this guy said that I'm for the FBA, I'm part of the FBA, but I refuse to support you because you're a lesbian. I didn't act I don't care. You don't have to support. I didn't ask you to support me. I didn't ask you to support me at all. I started this because my mother, my godfather, and y'all not gonna sit here and play with my family, and I'm not gonna let you play with nobody else's family. So I'm gonna do my part. And people who do listen to me and pay attention to me and have always paid attention to me, hey, this is what I see what's going on in the political world. I advise you guys to sit back and really do your research. I also advise you guys to stop voting blue because they weird. What does that got to do with my sexual orientation? But it's always out. It's always out here in the forefront. Like that's how I know that it's like it's a mental illness that honestly maybe one day people will try to figure out why are they so focused on that because you can't get mad at what I'm trying to do, but at the same time get mad at me because I'm not for how how they're weaponizing, and well, how they're using the LGBTQ to weaponize our children. I don't like how they do it when it comes to our seniors as well. You can't tell your seniors one thing, and then now that the pastors and stuff, the new grift is LGBTQ and CVI money, that you got, that you're pushing one narrative and then trying to go in on didn't try to go in like that Pastor Thurston. You can't sit and talk about my sexual orientation and try to like be funny about it and all that, but then you don't want to talk about your sexual orientation and why you receive awards for at gay men events. So you understand what I'm saying? Like the hypocrisy was out of control. That's another thing. Like that's what I'm saying. Like we in one big reality show. But I will tell you this: Chicago Fifth Red is not going nowhere. We have the right to be conservative. We have the right to fight for our country, for our state, for our city. And I advise anybody else in these blue cities, in these blue states, to fight, and in red states as well, because I see that, they say Ken Paxton may not win in Texas. You understand? But I'm trying to tell you, the blue states financially, it's just ghetto communism. It's it's ghetto communism, man. And it's never gonna work. Um and that's just what it is. But you're gonna have to get these people out of office who are just not um who just don't have common sense and that are liars. Juliana Stratton is a whole liar. She said she's gonna abolish ICE. No, you can't. Um, Alexa Janulius, he said he gonna fight ICE and fight Trump. Nigga, you gotta go to jail. You know, you got Pritzker. I'm gonna fight. What are you gonna fight? You're going to jail. Like y'all all belong in jail. You got Kwame Raoul that's using taxpayer money all day to sue Trump. But when you got people that's coming down there with real life crime, with real life issues like kidnapping over Daily Plaza, forcing people to still be divorced. Forcing people to still be more married when they're trying to be divorced. You got seniors. You got seniors going down there saying that their property is being taken. You got seniors that said that they demolished the property and got all the court orders to show you that. Got all the paperwork to show you there was no court order, but they doing it. And all they do is talk about Trump, 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 Trump. Yeah. So I'm going to keep calling on Trump to come take this city down. And that's just it. So I'm tired. I'm tired of people acting like the Democratic Party in Chicago is not the problem. You're not going to be able to change this machine unless you get this machine out of here and you rebuild a machine for the Chicagoans, not everybody outside of Chicago, people who don't know Chicago. The Chicago machine is supposed to be for the Chicagoans, and it's not. It's a real foreign machine. It's a real LGBTQ machine. It's a business killer machine. Okay, Chicago is a small business killer. They are SPKs. That's real talk. This lady today asked Danielle about, how are you going to bring revenue in here? We're going to talk about these forensic audits first. You got people like Chewy Garcia that got like 3, 4 pensions. Why the hell does he got 4 pensions? Why did we give all? Let's talk about the Capitol bill money. Nobody don't even talk about that Capitol bill. So that's for another time too. But as far as Chicago Fist Red, you can vote. May the best person win. But when it comes to Brandon Johnson, he's gone. I am going to work against Brandon. Nobody don't got to pay me to work against Brandon Johnson. Brandon Johnson showed me himself. Do you know that even Angela Rye had my mother and my godfather make a video in hopes of that he was going to help settle the case. He does not care. Y'all not going to come to me and tell me, oh, well, the person you really got to get at is Alexi Janelius. I'm going to get at everybody. Everybody. I'm getting at everybody. But this term with Brandon Johnson, I did this whole term with him. I followed this administration. I followed the money, but I especially followed that illegal immigration money, and I watched how he prioritized everybody else, but the people that were coming down to the city of Chicago. Coming down to the city of Chicago with their grievances. You could thank him and one more person. You could thank him. Thank him. You could thank Brandon Johnson and this man right here. This man right here, David Moore. These two, between Brandon Johnson and David Moore, but David Moore especially, he is the reason why Chicago Fist Red is a movement. You got a whole crackhead that is running the 17th Ward and tricking. They say this man right here has even paid for abortions. I don't know why anybody would sleep with this man, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? People be hard up for a little bit of cash. But yeah. But him and Brandon Johnson. So when you out here in these streets and you see this man and you see Brandon Johnson, just understand that it was because of them. So nobody don't need to pay me. Nobody will ever pay me when it comes to taking down Brandon Johnson and this man right here who needs to be in jail. It's nothing personal as far as when it comes to the election. When it comes, may the best person win. When it comes as far as getting the information, I'm never gonna put any lies out there on him, on Brandon Johnson, or him. These are gonna be all facts. I don't need to lie on them like y'all are trying to lie on me and lie on my brand, because y'all don't have nothing. Y'all don't have anything. So that's what it is. I have no problem keeping it 100 on who I am, who I'm going to be. I'm never going to change. I've always questioned things that didn't make any sense and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's game on. He should have did his job he should have did his job, and he didn't do his job as far as an alderman. and he can't do his job because he's an active crackhead. So I mean, it's all a lot of them do drugs. I'm trying to tell you, it's a coked up world, baby. It's a coked up world. But these people going to jail. So his famous Friday will be real soon. But I am gonna start the Sandpiper Lounge chapter because it's a story and the story is gonna stay there until I get to Trump and they investigate this. Asking the Attorney General Todd, the Attorney Blanche, to that he just got sworn in to look into my mother's case, and we have all the evidence and everything to show that they were wrong. This city was wrong, and this state was wrong. And Brandon Johnson and Governor Pritzker, but definitely Governor Pritzker, did not do his job, his due diligence when he got the information that they knocked down the Sandpiper Lounge without a court order, and you cannot do that. And a voicemail, they have a voicemail. Oh man, let me see if I can get this voicemail real quick. Maybe not. That'd crazy, man. Well, people gonna try to just make up lies. Make up lies now. I don't got no. I don't have nothing against. Yes, you do. I don't. Yeah, y'all bringing people in that don't have nothing to do with anything. I don't worry. Yeah, y'all gonna give me what is due, what is owed to my mom. You know? Yeah, y'all not gonna. That's the problem. I'm kind of slow a little bit.
There are three.
Uh,
This is for Charlene Marsh. I'm not sure if I've gotten the right person or not.
oh wait, hold on. Before I even put this
I'm
on,
calling.
hold on. This is from the City of Chicago Law Department. They're going to give the three options of what my mother can do for demolished property. This is coming from the City of Chicago's Law Department.
Calling from the City of Chicago Law Department. I understand you were trying to get through on over the long weekend. In any event, there are three things you can do if you want money for demolished property. If we're just talking about a little bit of money, the Alderman's Committee on Finance, and I'm surprised your Alderman didn't mention that to you.
That was there. Now, the alderman was supposed to mention that. But you know what the alderman, David Morris, said to my godfather when they knocked down the building? They told me I had 5 minutes to get out. They wasn't supposed to knock down that building. And then my godfather proceeded to go and sleep in a shelter that night.
Uh, if this is a more serious problem, and I rather suspect it is, uh, and it's happened rather recently, call Anya Delgado. Her direct line is 312-744-5650. She will send out the paperwork for you to apply to the claims division, which is like an insurance division within the city, which will consider the matter.
My mother did that. I think she asked for Mom, what you asked for? 100,000? 100,000. Wouldn't even give her that.
744 or 312-744-5650, and it's Anya Delgado, but that's her line. So either she'll pick it up or somebody who's doing the same thing that she's doing while she's out to lunch or something. The third route is to file a lawsuit. You could do this pro se, in which case uh, go down to the county building or the Daily Center up on the sixth floor or the eighth floor, depending on how much money you're interested in, and file a lawsuit. Better yet, your attorney, because if you're running this kind of an operation, you've probably got an attorney, and that attorney can tell you what your prospects are. Anyway, that's the information. Committee on Finance, calling Anya Delgado, or filing a lawsuit, and you do that by going to the Daily Center and asking them how to proceed. There are people there that would help you. This is for Charlene Marsh. I'm not sure if I've gotten the right.
So yeah, so that is a voicemail from the City of Chicago Law Department. So again, the City of Chicago know that they messed up, and they thought that they were going to ignore me. And then when it got too big, they thought they were going to they were going to separate me and Miss Jessica and try to get me a contract to shut me up. And because I wasn't going to take that, now it's time to try to basically say I'm working for the Republican Party. Danielle's working for the Republican Party. We are trying to split the vote. We are trying to win. We don't want We don't want Brandon Johnson. Danielle, she declared as a Republican. We didn't declare as a, in Chicago, you don't got to declare one or the other. No, we want to declare Republican. We told you that we were coming for them seats. I told you if the city of Chicago did not settle my family's case, I was going to flip it red. And Danielle said, what makes you laugh is going to make you cry later. So I don't understand, where do y'all think that we're like trying to do this to split votes? No. My advice to y'all is to tell Brandon Johnson, you shouldn't even think about running. Why don't he debate? You know what? I challenge Brandon Johnson to debate Danielle right now. I want him to dance around everything and blame white supremacy and say that he was somewhere the other day. Somebody sent me a video talking about something. We put $2.6 billion on the south side and $2 billion on the west side. I'm a west side boy, but I gave y'all more than I gave the west side. Shut your corny self up. Like, you just corny and a liar. Because that's what y'all on. Y'all are on a script. We're not on a script. This is real life that we on. It's real life. So yeah, may the best. I don't know what else to tell y'all, but I do know that Danielle not getting out the race, and I'm gonna put out the facts. I'm gonna put out the facts, and y'all not gonna probably like the facts because the facts are the truth. And y'all thought that y'all think y'all have this influence in this city because y'all have been sellouts for so long, and y'all have continued to be sellouts, that now there's a new sheriff in town, and all those maneuvers that y'all used to do back in the day, it ain't gonna work this time because y'all will sell y'all community out to the highest bidder. Yeah. You need to ask yourselves what makes you think that Brandon Johnson is going to get a second term? What did he do for anybody? And I'm talking about anybody. He didn't do nothing for nobody in the city of Chicago. Nobody. Yeah. He took care of his peoples and anybody who was aligned with CTU and their peoples. Now that election season is here, now he wants to start going into these different places trying to get support and think that somebody's gonna give him support. No. He don't care about nobody but himself. Nobody but himself. And anybody that's vouching for him don't care for nobody but themselves. Y'all better save up that CVI money and get y'all some lawyers because y'all going to jail. Peace. Chicago Fist Red, Danielle Carter Walters for mayor. If y'all have not signed her petition, please sign her petition. If you would like to volunteer, please volunteer. We have our bone to pick with the city, August 25th. We have that's our first town hall. And what else do we have? We have court with CTU this Friday at 10 a.m. 555 West Harrison. Please come and watch them live. Because they have nothing. You should see this discovery. It's absolutely they're done. They just we shut them down. And and they need to be done. So that what else do we have? Um and City Hall starts back up next month in a couple of weeks. So yeah. And you're more than welcome to reach out to me. Um anytime, but when and you know if you want to come to the office and sign the petition, let me know. But as far as like as supporting any of these candidates that are Democrats and that have been in office, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We have a property theft issue. We have a theft issue uh, in our community, and the Democratic Party is sponsoring all the thievery and the coonism and everything else. They calling us a coon. They calling us coon because we tired of y'all taking advantage of taxpayers and we're not seeing a return on investment with all the taxes that we continue to pay over and over again. Where's the lottery money? Where's the cannabis money? Where's the bag tax money? Come on, man. Where the money at? Harper, Regis. So yeah, Danielle Carter Walters for mayor, Chicago Fist Red. And if you can donate $5.99 a month, and I can get 1,500 people to do that, that's $8,000 a month, and that will help me with my operations for Chicago Fist Red, so I can start hiring people to help me when it comes to this journalism, because I need to attack from all sides to get the truth out here, because the fake news does not care about you or anybody else that is going to give them the uncomfortable truth, and they're being paid. I hate that for them. But shout out to Anita Black. Shout out to Fox 32 for not being afraid to interview Danielle. And when you look at Danielle's um her interview, let's see, we got it. That's another reason why they're scared too now. Was this right here. Another reason why the 143,000 views 1 month. 143,000 views. Now you go look up lame, whatever, the rest of them, and they'll have nowhere near compared to what Danielle got on her interview on Fox 32, and that's why they're afraid to put her on anything else. But they're watching everything that we do, so what we need from y'all, donate $20 a month, $5.99 a month, $2.99 a month, $1 a month, or make sure you register to vote and vote for Danielle. Make sure that you find her and sign her petition so we can get her on the ballot. And I'm gonna make this very clear. We can do it. We can if y'all want to challenge her signatures, I'm challenging all of y'all signatures. We all just gonna be waiting. Or you're gonna or everybody gonna get on this ballot and may the best person win. But as soon as you want to start challenging signatures, cool. We're gonna challenge all y'all's too because I know that y'all cheating. I know what y'all doing. I know what y'all doing. So it is what it is. Peace.